Okay. Sorry that I'm doing this without putting an announcement on Twitter about it first. But I have a bunch of stuff to do this afternoon. Don't have a whole lot of time to talk with the chat room about stuff. So let's just do a quick review here and then get on with our day so I can go get my Christmas tree and the 4 or 5 other things I have to do today. So let's get started. Impact from December 8th. Uh, so it looks like the plan going forward is to hold 4 or 5 giant marathon TV tapings over the next year, and that will cover the whole of 2017. That is going to be rough on the audience and on the wrestlers, and you get a feel for what it's going to be like this week and the last couple weeks, quite frankly. The wrestlers are still working hard, but you can tell a lot of them are running on fumes at this point, and they were just trying to drag themselves across the finish line because they've been taping TV for over a week straight and they were just dead on their feet. And that does come across, unfortunately. The show overall just seems to lack energy. It's a real effort to get anything out of the crowd. When they do, it's because something is really working great, but it's tough on the crowd, it's tough on the roster, and you can tell everyone just really needs a break. So anyway, the show begins with our new grand champion Moose. He comes out and he cuts, babyface promo 101, dedicates the title win to the fans, says he'll be a fighting champion. He gets interrupted by the returning Drew Galloway, who I guess is cleared now. He's still in, the super emo mode with the hoodie and all that stuff, and the hair all over his face, and so he's like, that anything that happened with that title, since it was created doesn't mean anything because I wasn't the champion like I should have been, and so he's setting his sights on that title, which is good. Those two will produce some great matches, but not this week because Aaron Rexon comes out to interrupt, invoking his rematch clause, and he's basically in Damian Sandow mode at this point, which is a good thing. He shows way more personality as a heel, and that really does come across. He just looks more comfortable in this role. So, well, he's basically just seems to be kind of copying what he was doing in WWE. That's not a bad thing because it works. So they have the match with Rex challenging for the title, and he uses the loaded punch in round 1, and then Moose is basically on the defensive for the rest of the match. And unfortunately, it isn't really exciting as a result because most of the match is just Rex kind of beating Moose down and Moose trying to fight back but not really being able to get anything going or get any momentum. And it just continues on like that for the majority of the match until Moose hits his finisher and then wins out of the blue in the 3rd round. Okay, he's a fighting champion. He looks strong. Like I said, it's a soft reboot for Aaron Rex's character. I think he's going to be a lot more successful with this version of his character. So I'm assuming that they're going to be moving on to Moose versus Drew Galloway at this point, which is cool. Not sure where Aaron Rex goes from here, but I think letting him get his feet wet with a mid card feud will be good for him. Keep him visible, and at least at or near main event level. I think getting out of that Grand Championship format will work well for him too, because I don't think he was the best guy to do that with. I don't think his style really allowed it to be that effective. Probably other guys who are going to have an easier time making that work for them. So I think this will be good for everybody. Moving on, we have an X Division-ish segment. After the Mandrews heel turn last week, we get a follow-up to that, which to be honest felt very confused. Mark Andrews comes out to a more heelish entrance theme song, but he's still sporting the same look. He's still got the skateboard, the Letterman's jacket, and he's not really acting that differently either. Then he has a match with Aiden OShea for some reason. And the thing is, OShea is this big bruiser bully type, and if you didn't see the show last week, you would have thought he was the heel. He was acting like the heel, wrestling like a heel, except he's supposed to be the babyface, I think. And then you got Mandrews, who, while he does rake the eyes at one point, he's basically still working the same style he did as a face. He's still doing his high spots. Hell, he won the match with a shooting star press. So you would have thought that this match was designed to get Mandrews over as a face, except he's supposed to be the bad guy. And he wins the match in babyface fashion, and then they play his old babyface music. So the face-heel dynamics here were completely screwed up. Somebody must have gotten their wires crossed when they were booking this, because I didn't know what the hell was going on or how I was supposed to feel about it. Why is Mandrews... what is Mandrews supposed to be now? Is he a face? Is he a heel? I have no idea. The fans still seem to want to cheer the guy, which begs the question why the heel turn was even done in the first place. I like seeing him win a match. I like seeing him get pushed. But as for what the writers are actually going for with him right now, beats me. And then we have something out of the Vince Russo playbook, a double strap match between Al Snow, Mahabali Shera versus the Tribunal. Because this was a feud that really demanded a gimmick to finish it off. If that's what this was. I'm kind of skeptical at this point, because this feud just seems to keep going and going and going, despite no one apparently being on board with it. But they're just drawing this out as long as they can. Look, I'll be honest, I went to get a snack during this match. I just had no desire to watch it. From what little I saw, nothing interesting was going on. I have no interest in this feud. It does nothing for me. I don't care about it. I don't care about the people involved. It kind of feels like they're keeping it going just to keep it going because, well, we got to do something with these guys, apparently. So let's just drag the feud out beyond its natural endpoint. So fast forwarding through that, the Broken Obsolete Hardys come out after this, thankfully. Something interesting happens. So we get the Hardys out there, and Matt announces total Nonstop Deletion next week. This big, crazy Impact that will be shot entirely at the Hardys compound, or that was already shot at the Hardys compound. And he announces a few things that are going to happen here, not the least of which is Maxwell's in-ring debut. Damn, that is going to be so confusing for this kid. I swear. And this huge tag team free-for-all thing with an open challenge to any legendary tag teams out there. So Shane Helms comes out and to say that the Helms Dynasty are going to be there, and the Decay are going to be there too, and apparently the Rock and Roll Express are going to be there doing something, and so on and so forth. Really interesting hype for this. And if this is supposed to be a 2-hour final deletion segment, and it seems like that's going to be the case, this promises to be fucking nuts. That hype video was insane. There was with explosions and tons of people fighting all over the fucking place. I am excited for this. And even though I'm going to be at the movie theater that night seeing Rogue One because I bought my ticket weeks ago, don't let that confuse you. This is going to be a big show. I'm pumped for this one. This promises to be something really unique, and it's pretty rare that you can say that in wrestling these days. I think the segment did a great job of teasing a lot of cool stuff that's going to happen, but also leaving enough up to the imagination that you really have no idea what to expect. Get excited for this one. So that was really good. Also, I got a kick out of Matt mentioning 3 count, and the superhero stuff with the hurricane when Shane Helms came out there. Screw you, Matt. 3 count was awesome. So after this, we come to our wait, are we at that point already? Look at my notes here. Holy shit! Yeah, we are. We're at that place now. Huh. Okay. So anyway, we come to our knockouts match, and you might as well call this the real main event of the show because it might as well have been, considering how the fans reacted to it. Because more than any other, this was the segment where the crowd really gave a shit, where they were really awake and really invested in what was going on. The fans just love Allie. She was the most over person on this show, except for maybe the Broken Obsolete Hardys, but I mean, at best that's a toss-up. And it wasn't even a spectacular match or anything, but the crowd is just so into this storyline and this character that for a couple of minutes, it actually injected a little energy into that damn audience that was probably about as tired as all the wrestlers were at that point. That's how well this storyline has gotten over and worked. I thought this was great. They pulled the trigger on Allie being a wrestler now. They accelerated that a little faster than I expected. So Allie can now hold her own in the ring because she's been secretly training with Braxton Sutter. And they mentioned that we don't really know how long it's been going on for. They mentioned it last week, but it's like, hey, wait. It's like, oh, wait a minute, because maybe that's been going on longer than we thought. Maybe they've just been training together, off-site for a while now. We don't know. So they kind of cheated that. So it's like, oh, Allie's skills have progressed faster than anybody probably expected, which is good. Because the fans are really clamoring to see that. Really dying to see Allie just kind of hold her own in the ring and stand up for herself now and kind of wrestle to her full potential. And now we're going to get to see that. I still don't see what the Braxton Sutter connection does for her. I don't think Allie needs that. I think Sutter was going to get more out of that than she will, but it's a much better fit for him than being in the X division. I'll give it that. So I really enjoyed this part. Allie is rapidly turning into that top knockout babyface that the company is going to need in the not-too-distant future. I mean, no offense to Jade, she's up there too, but while Jade may be Gail's chosen one, Allie is proving herself to be the fans' chosen one. And then we have our main event. We get EC3 versus Eddie Edwards for the World Heavyweight Championship. Great match. Got a lot of time. I think they devoted something like half hour total to this, including like the entrances and the stuff at the end. It was close to a half hour. So no complaints there. But the crowd is tired, and you can tell Eddie and EC3 are too. The finish being a draw was well handled. I like EC3 getting heated and frustrated afterward. So obviously a rematch is going to happen soon, and maybe they're teasing that heel turn, a heel turn is going to happen there. But I don't know if that would be the best thing to do right now, just because I'm not sure who would take EC3's place as the top babyface. I guess Moose would be the most likely choice, but he's the mid-card champion now, so it's a little tricky. But whether they go with the EC3 heel turn or not, they do seem to be building to something here. And I feel like a title change has to happen soon. Whether it's EC3 winning the belt or James Storm winning the belt or something. I mean, Eddie Edwards hasn't exactly failed as the world champion so much as he hasn't really succeeded at the level you need a world champion to succeed. God bless the guy. The matches have been top-notch, but as a character, he hasn't really evolved into anything that he wasn't already. It's been kind of what you expected. Eddie just doesn't have that gravitas that a central figure needs. That's why he tended to kind of fade into the background during those big promo segments with a lot of people talking. In the short term, I think his title reign has been fine, but we're starting to spin our wheels here. I think we've kind of reached the limit of what it's going to accomplish. Hit and miss show this week. The main event, the Alley stuff, and the hype for total Nonstop Deletion were great. The rest of it was like okay, we're gonna go out there and we're gonna put this show on to the best of our ability because that's our job, goddammit. But FYI, fans, we're really fucking tired at this point. Just putting that out there. That's kind of the impression I got for a lot of this. For me, the good still outshined the not so good, but I'm definitely looking forward, as I think everyone else is, to the roster and the audience having a little bit of a break and coming back when we're all fresh and well rested. All right. All right. Okay, we got some stuff in the chat room. I'm going to try to get through these real quick and then end this thing because I got to go. I got stuff to do today. Laurel Van Ness is an attractive woman. Why do you pick on her and call her a giraffe for being taller? I do that as a joke because Maria used the fact that Laurel is really tall as a way to taunt Allie. So I play it off as a joke for the Team Allie stuff. It's like, oh, she's so freakishly tall. But Braxton Sutter would never whisper sweet nothings in her ear. She's so tall he can't even reach her ear. Yeah, see, Sutter's with Allie. Yeah, I knew he wasn't into giraffes. Ha 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 ha. It's a joke. I'm just having fun with it. It's not meant to be taken seriously. Yes, she's very hot. She's super hot. For the record, I like tall chicks. It's all just me having a little fun. Let's see, Aaron Rex said on Facebook that the Grand Championship format is hard for him to get into because he wrestles off of emotions. Yeah, that comes across. I did get the impression that he was having trouble adapting to that format. So it's probably a good thing that they took the title off him, really. Let's see. Given how TNA is obsessed with Gail Kim, do you think Rosemary will actually get a good run as champ? That depends. It depends how long Gail will be out for. So I think as long as Gail Kim is out with the injury, I think Rosemary will get a good run. If Gail comes back sooner than later, then I'm far less confident. Because I feel like, as soon as Gail comes back, the Knockout division is just going to go right back to being the Gail Kim show. Because TNA just can't seem to help themselves in that regard. Let's see. I really don't see Rosemary facing heels. I think it'll be just faces, but they lack faces, which means Mrs. Cena will ruin Rosemary. I could see her facing heels, honestly. I don't really see Rosemary as being a stereotypical heel. I think she's more like just a force of nature who just wants to mow down everyone in her path, face or heel. So I think there are more possibilities than you think. Since Cherry Bomb versus Courtney Rush is a huge indie feud, it's only fair that they have it in TNA as Allie versus Rosemary. Hell yeah! That's what I want them to build toward now. Like I said, I want Rosemary to hold that belt for a good long time and then defend it against Allie at Bound for Glory. I think maybe if they fudge things a little bit, they could do it at Slammiversary. If they didn't think they had the roster to keep Rosemary's title run going that long, but I think it ought to happen at Bound for Glory. Just have Rosemary just cut through the entire roster and then have Allie be the last woman standing. Drew versus Moose will be a sick match. Yep. Don't understand the Knockouts angle. The acting is cringeworthy. Since I started watching Impact again the past couple weeks, I've been skipping their segments because it's just too much for me. Wow. I think most people will probably disagree with you. I mean, this Allie thing has been working as well or better than anything else on the show right now, and she's gotten over huge because of it. So maybe it's just a personal preference thing, because Maria does go over the top a lot of the time, and the Allie character isn't exactly subtle, but it works. So maybe it's just, different strokes for different folks. Should TNA release Raquel and Madison for better talents? Madison's part of the creative team now, and well, she's one of only two. Aside from Gail Kim, she's the only other veteran knockout left on the roster, and she's really the only one that we can count on to put over the younger talent in ways that are meaningful and make them look good. Because Gail just, for whatever reason, she just doesn't like doing that. Gail might job to the new girls sometimes, but it's not in a way that means anything. It always comes off like a fluke. It's like Gail is about to win the match, but then there's a shit ton of interference, and then the girl takes advantage of Gail being distracted. So it always just comes off like the girl got lucky, and Gail is still so protected that the win doesn't mean anything for the other person. And then the win just gets invalidated or forgotten about later on. So if we want a veteran knockout to put over the new girl, really it's just Madison who can do that. Should they get rid of Raquel? Yeah, probably. Who do you think Rosemary will feud with next? Probably they'll continue the thing with Jade for a while. Let's see. Eddie seems more heelish than EC3. EC3 seems more frustrated, but not in a heel type of way. Possibly. I think that's just a charisma thing. Even if EC3 is acting more heelish, he's got that natural charm that just makes you want to like him. And Eddie, again, it's not really Eddie's wheelhouse. He's the wrestler. He's not the talker. So in those situations, even if EC3 is playing the heel, he's probably going to come off as the more magnetic presence. Broken Matt's 3 count reference to Helms was funny as hell. Yeah, it was. Let's see. I've got no problem with the format of the Grand Championship. It happened to like it because it has a sports-centric feel to it. Okay. Yeah, I know it has some supporters out there, and I don't think it's failed, really. I just don't think it's caught on the way they were hoping it would have. Again, it's like the matches haven't been terrible, but they haven't really been... It's like, I don't think the format really adds enough to it to merit keeping it around. Hey, I'll give him credit for trying something different, but it's like, well, it's different, but it's not really, bringing much to the table that makes it special or makes it feel special because it's different, if that makes any sense. And that is going to do it, I think. Just a quick review, a quick talk with you guys. Sorry there wasn't a notice about this on Twitter, but like I said, I don't have a whole lot of time today because I got other stuff to do. So I gotta go. I gotta do a couple things. I gotta take trash to the dump. I gotta go get my Christmas tree and a bunch of other things. So I also gotta do some Christmas shopping because damn, I still got a lot of stuff to do. Okay, so that's gonna be it. Thanks guys for showing up, even though there was no notice about it. So Comic Show Post-Show is on winter hiatus now because all the shows are on winter hiatus. So I will be back next Saturday to talk to you guys again. Until then, peace out.